Welcome to Securely Flex. This is an instructional video for substitute teachers that shows how to log into the Flex system to take attendance during the school's Flex period or periods. Let's look at the details. As a substitute teacher, you will be given this page of instructions. It may be printed and handed to you, or it might be emailed to you. If you receive this by email, you can click on the hyperlink in Step 1 to access the Flex login page. Otherwise, launch your browser and enter the URL flex.securely.com/login. At the login page, enter the credentials from the instruction sheet in the email and password fields. You may be able to copy and paste the password. When you click Login, you will be taken to the Flex student attendance screen for the current day. The student attendance screen will be your main screen. From the top menu bar, there is also a Help menu with a few additional resources, and then the Log Out button on the far right. Directly under this menu bar on the left is a drop-down that will provide access to the various Flex periods that a school may be running. Some schools only run one Flex period, but others run multiple Flex periods throughout the week. In the Date area, you will see that the current day is defaulted, and if you navigate away from this date, the screens are blank. Your access only provides the attendance list for the current day's Flex activities. Below the dates, you will see an activity title bar that shows the priority level and name of the activity in bold. We'll talk about the icons out to the right later in this video. On the far right of the activity title bar is a dark gray circle with a check mark in it. This button is what you will click to submit your attendance for all students on the list for this particular activity. If there is more than one activity listed, you will need to submit attendance for each separately. Before clicking the dark gray check button, please mark the correct attendance status for each student listed. Most often, this will default to present, but in some schools, there may be an SIS absent indicator out to the right, and the student's attendance will then default to absent. Once the correct selections are made for all students, you can click the dark gray check button. You'll see that this timestamps the attendance for each student in that activity. If a student's attendance status needs to be updated, for example, let's say a student you marked absent shows up late with an excuse, you can return to this screen anytime that same day and change the status selection, and then click the blue check button out to the right of the student's record. This will resubmit the attendance and update the timestamp for that student. I'd like to quickly mention that if you see this pink Missing Students section on your attendance screen, this is just letting you know that there were students the teacher was expecting to attend this activity, but they will not be attending. This is most often because they have been scheduled into a higher priority activity. There is nothing you need to do with the students listed in this section. Please keep in mind that teachers may have scheduled more than one activity in a Flex period. These will be listed separately on the student attendance screen. Be sure to scroll down and look for any additional activities, including catch-all, that you may be responsible for taking attendance. These will all be listed on your instruction sheet. In some instances, the teacher you are filling in for may have been set up to assist another teacher in taking attendance for an activity. This type of activity will be listed on your instruction sheet. You may notice the room number is different than the room you're in. In this case, it's important to coordinate with the other teacher regarding the exact attendance procedures, but you do have access to the student attendance list to assist with this process. If a student is in your Flex activity but is not on your attendance list, you can attempt to +add the student to your activity list. You may want to ask the student where they were scheduled to go. If it's unclear and/or makes sense to add them to your attendance list, click the blue button with a plus, which is on the activity title bar. You can search for the student here using their name, and if they are available or not registered in a higher priority activity, you will be able to add them to your list and submit attendance. If the student you are trying to plus add is registered in a higher priority activity, a red message will appear in the bottom right corner of your screen. This message will show which activity, teacher, and room the student should go to. Next, let's review the other icons available on the activity title bar. If the first bubble icon has a number other than 0 next to it, this means a student has left a comment or note for the teacher. You can click on this to view the note. The second icon from the left is used for shared attendance. If there is a number here other than 0, you can click this to see what other teacher is scheduled to assist in taking attendance for this activity. It is also possible for you to add another teacher here if necessary. Simply search the teacher's name and click Update to add them. They will then have access in their Flex system to the same student attendance list, and you can coordinate with that teacher to take attendance for the activity. We explained the plus add icon earlier. To the right of this is a print icon, which allows you to download a PDF list of the student attendance for this activity. This can then be printed if necessary. The last two icons before the check mark have to do with scanning attendance. The first is the QR code option. By clicking this, a QR code is generated for this specific activity. This can be displayed from your device or printed to display to students. Students will use their QR code scanning function in Flex to scan themselves in. When they do this, they are marked present, but you will need to finalize and submit the attendance list. The second scanning icon is for barcode scanning. This requires a barcode scanning device that would be used to scan the student's ID card. When scanned, the ID is entered here and the student is marked present. For both scanning options, the school should provide some additional guidance if you are expected to utilize either of these when taking Flex attendance. Please be sure to log out when you are done taking attendance for the day. The credentials you were provided will not work the following day, even if you are substituting for the same teacher. You will be issued new credentials. This concludes our instructional video for substitute teachers. If you have any questions, please direct them to the appropriate school contact. Thank you.